the voice you couldn't touch. Some artists sing to be heard. Maxwell sang to disappear. In an age where fame meant exposure, he built his career on the opposite, mystery. His songs were whispers in the dark, love letters folded so tight, even his fans could only guess who they were meant for. Maxwell, the man who made neo-soul sound like velvet and silence feel like poetry. He was vulnerable without being loud, seductive without saying much at all. But behind that calm voice and smooth falsetto lived a storm. Rumors, heartbreaks, controversies, and a battle between the world's curiosity and his need for peace. This is the story of Maxwell, the voice, the mystery, and the man who refused to let fame take his soul. Born Gerald Maxwell Rivera in Brooklyn, 1973, half Puerto Rican, half Haitian, all heart. His father, a man who dreamed in music, died when Maxwell was just 3. That loss left a silence so heavy he started filling it with sound. Church choirs, cassette tapes, and an obsession with rhythm became his therapy. In those early years, he didn't just find music, he found escape. Growing up in a city split between cultures, Maxwell's identity became his melody, a blend of languages, faces, and emotions that didn't fit into any one box. That confusion, that constant question of belonging, would later shape the soul in his voice. Because when he finally sang, he didn't sound like anyone else. He sounded like someone searching. Urban Hang Suite, The Silent Revolution. When Columbia Records signed him in the mid-1990s, nobody knew what to expect. R&B at the time was dominated by flash, big beats, flashy suits, loud personalities. Then came Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite in 1996. No bravado, no club anthems, just honeyed vocals, live instrumentation, and lyrics that made love sound like church. The album didn't explode instantly. It grew quietly, word by word, ear by ear. Critics called it too soft, but Time called it revolutionary. It became one of the pillars of neo-soul, a genre that valued feeling over fame, depth over charts. Alongside D'Angelo and Erykah Badu, Maxwell helped carve a space for vulnerability and Black masculinity, a lane where men could be sensual, introspective, even spiritual. He once said that his music wasn't about seduction, it was about connection. And that became his power. While others shouted for attention, Maxwell whispered. And somehow, the world still listened. The private star. But fame has a price, especially when you don't play by its rules. As Maxwell's star rose, his appearances became fewer. He didn't chase talk shows, didn't give interviews about his creative process, and rarely talked about his personal life. To some, he was mysterious. To others, frustrating. But to Maxwell, silence wasn't strategy, it was survival. He'd watch other artists burn out under the spotlight, their private lives turned into headlines. He wanted no part of it, so he disappeared. For years at a time. No albums, no scandals, no explanations. When he finally reappeared, it was always with music, never drama. He was the Sade of male R&B, elegant, elusive, untouchable. But the more he hid, the more people wanted to know who he was hiding from and who he was hiding with. The women and the whispers. In the early 2000s, the rumors began. Actress Elizabeth Rome, confirmed 2003. Short-lived but real. Before that, whispers of Sade and Ananda Lewis, never proven, but irresistible to tabloids. Then came Camila Alves, the Brazilian model who later married Matthew McConaughey. They were spotted at events, cozy smiles and quiet chemistry. But like most Maxwell stories, it ended before it ever really began. By 2007, he was seen with model Raven Davis, then Victoria's Secret star Salida Ebanks. Again, no confirmations, just photographs and fan theories. Then came 2016, the year fans thought they finally had answers. Maxwell and TV host Julissa Bermudez, vacation photos, red carpet appearances, the 2016 BET Awards arm in arm. For a moment, he looked happy, unguarded even. When asked, Julissa denied the rumors. He's a friend. But then came the post. On Instagram, Maxwell wrote, "Her mother is from the Dominican Republic. My mother is from Haiti. We're supposed to hate each other, but love wins every time." Fans lost it. A love note in plain sight, yet still encrypted in his poetic ambiguity. Then, silence again. No confirmations, no breakups, just absence. And that's the pattern with Maxwell. Glimpses of vulnerability, followed by vanishing acts. He gives you just enough to feel close, then reminds you that you never really knew him. The Backlash: Love, Race, and Expectations. Then came 2013, and for the first time, the mystery turned against him. On Instagram, fans began to notice something. Almost every woman Maxwell posted, friends, models, colleagues, was light-skinned or white. Comments flooded his feed. "Why don't you ever post black women? No hate, but there's a lack of diversity here." What started as a fan observation became a firestorm. Accusations of colorism, debates about loyalty to his core fan base. And this time, Maxwell didn't stay silent. He clapped back hard. He wrote, paraphrased, "Sick of some of you chiming in on my friends and insulting them with racist comments. You assume everything and know nothing. I'll post whoever I want. Love everybody." Then he doubled down. Happy Non-Racist Day. Love everybody. No racism allowed. Some fans applauded him for standing his ground. Others said he missed the point, that representation mattered, especially for an artist whose music meant so much to the Black community. But here's the truth. Maxwell never asked to be anyone's spokesperson. He wasn't a movement. He was a man. Still, that moment changed everything. For the first time, people weren't talking about his music. They were dissecting his morality. And when you live on silence, even one misinterpreted word can echo for years. (2017) The Black History Month Controversy. By 2017, Maxwell had been quiet again, musically and publicly. Then, during Black History Month, one tweet shattered the silence. He wrote, "Including everyone in Black History Month is beneficial to us all. Not all of us look like a typical Black." He added a photo of jazz icon Lena Horne, elegant, light-skinned, undeniably part of the Black legacy. To Maxwell, it was a message about inclusion, that Blackness, like music, had shades, stories, and variety. But online, nuance is a language few speak. The post exploded. Critics accused him of diluting the meaning of Black History Month, of centering non-Black recognition during a time meant to celebrate Black achievement. The tweet was deleted within hours, but screenshots had already taken flight. And then, things got worse. One user mocked his latest album's performance, saying, This is why your last album flopped. Maxwell, usually the quiet one, slid into her DMs and fired back. Check the numbers. When she shared the message publicly, the story went viral again. What was meant as a moment of reflection became a full-blown controversy. To some, he was misunderstood, a man trying to preach unity. To others, it felt like a betrayal, tone-deaf and defensive. But at the core, the same pattern repeated. Maxwell spoke softly, the world shouted loudly, and silence became his only escape. The cost of being misunderstood. After the storm, Maxwell went quiet again. No apologies, no interviews, no clarifications. Just absence. He'd seen what happened when words failed him, how a single sentence could rewrite years of artistry. And so he retreated back into the one place he could control completely, the music. In a world addicted to oversharing, Maxwell's silence became an act of rebellion. But it came at a cost. The same fans who once celebrated his mystery began demanding transparency. Social media had changed the rules. Artists were expected to perform their lives as much as their songs. But Maxwell never adjusted. He stayed analog in a digital age. And that choice, to stay off the algorithm and on his own rhythm, made him something rare. An artist still uncorrupted by exposure. If you've ever felt misunderstood for just being yourself, you'll get this next part. Because for Maxwell, music wasn't just sound, it was survival. Subscribe for more deep dives into the artist who turned pain into poetry. But at the core, the same pattern repeated. Maxwell spoke softly, the world shouted loudly, and silence became his only escape. Redemption through music. When the noise got too loud, Maxwell did what he always did. He sang his way out of it. Now, 2001, platinum in a week. Black Summer's Night, 2009, another chart-topping masterpiece. Both were love letters disguised as therapy sessions. His music was never reactionary. It didn't clap back. It healed forward. Every lyric sounded like closure whispered through candlelight. He once said in an interview, "The hardest part of fame is pretending to be normal when you feel everything too deeply." And you can hear that in every falsetto note. Maxwell's voice didn't just seduce, it confessed. The pauses between his words said as much as the lyrics themselves. It's what made his performances electric, even in silence. No pyrotechnics, no dancers, just a microphone, a spotlight, and emotion you could feel in your chest. When he sang, it felt like time stopped, and for a moment, the man the internet wanted to decode simply was. The return and legacy. For 6 long years, fans waited. Then, in October 2023, Maxwell broke his silence with one announcement. His long-promised album, Black Summer's Night, was finally complete. The final chapter of his trilogy. No gimmicks, no leaks, just music. And in that announcement, the tone felt different, grounded, reflective, content. Because by now, Maxwell didn't need to explain who he was. His absence had already become his legacy. Younger artists, Giveon, Brent Faiyaz, Daniel Caesar, all borrow shades of his sound. That smooth restraint, that delicate masculinity, that quiet confidence. Maxwell didn't just shape neo-soul. He gave it permission to breathe, to whisper, to be intimate without apology. And while others chased visibility, Maxwell perfected invisibility. He didn't need to be seen to be felt. The sound of silence. Maxwell's story isn't about scandal or secrets. It's about choosing peace in a world that profits from chaos. He's the artist who refused to feed the machine, who understood that mystery isn't distance, it's dignity. When he sang about love, he wasn't performing, he was remembering. When he went silent, he wasn't hiding, he was healing. And maybe that's why his music still resonates decades later. Because in every whisper, every pause, and every echo, there's something sacred. The proof that soul doesn't need an audience, it just needs truth. In an age where everyone is shouting to be noticed, Maxwell reminds us, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing at all. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe. Next, we're exploring another voice that redefined R&B in silence, D'Angelo's Hidden Years, and how mystery became his masterpiece.